They sold my 40-acre ranch while I was burying my father. $1. That's what the HOA president's daughter paid for 3 generations of my family's blood, sweat, and legacy. One goddamn dollar. I'm standing here watching her bulldozers tear into land my grandfather cleared with his bare hands. The diesel smoke burns my throat, and the grinding of machinery drowns out every meadowlark song I grew up hearing. But here's the thing they didn't count on. I'm a welder. And the fence I built? It didn't just mark property lines, it exposed every lie, bankrupted every conspirator, and sent her straight to federal prison. What would you do if someone stole your inheritance while you grieved? Tell me in the comments. Where are you watching from? Because the property law loophole I found works in all 50 states. Stay with me. This gets good. My name's Garrett Murdoch. 52 years old, third-generation cattle rancher, and up until 6 weeks ago, I thought I knew exactly how my life would end. Right here on Broken Antler Ranch, same 40 acres my grandfather staked in 1961. My father, Emmett, just lost an 18-month war with pancreatic cancer, the kind where you watch a man who could wrestle a steer to the ground waste away to nothing. Those last weeks, I lived at hospice in Colorado Springs, holding his hand while he told the same stories about building this place with a pickup truck and pure stubbornness. I split my time, weekends and summers on the ranch, weekdays welding industrial steel in the city. Never married, no kids. This ranch was my retirement plan, my father's legacy, my whole damn identity. Walk into Dad's study, and the smell of old leather hits you like a memory. The porch boards creak in the exact same spots they did when I was 10. You can hear the afternoon wind whistle through the barn gaps, a sound that used to put me to sleep as a kid. But 5 years ago, the world around us changed. Some developer bought former BLM land bordering Broken Antler and vomited up Sage Valley Estates, 142 identical beige boxes with mandatory HOA membership. Monthly dues, $340 for the privilege of someone else telling you what color you can paint your mailbox. Here's the beautiful part. My ranch predates their little suburban kingdom by 60 years. I'm not a member. Their rules mean nothing to me. Picture it. My weathered ranch house and sun-bleached outbuildings sitting there like a middle finger, surrounded by a sea of McMansions. To me, it was home. To them, an eyesore. To her, an opportunity. Delphine Arquette, 58, HOA president for 3 years and counting. Former real estate agent from Fort Collins who landed in our town of Silver Pine Junction after a divorce messy enough to be a Dateline episode, the kind of woman who smiles while calculating exactly how much your suffering is worth in commission points. She drives a white Lexus SUV, vanity plate SG Val 1, because subtlety died with her marriage. Always dripping in turquoise jewelry like some discount spiritual guru, but her eyes, cold as a January creek. Every email she sends has a typo. Every smile's manufactured. Her favorite phrase, "I'm just following the rules." The rules she wrote naturally. Her obsession, curb appeal, property values, maintaining community standards. She'd calculated, with absolutely zero evidence, that my ranch was somehow dropping neighboring home values by 40 grand each. $40,000, based on her gut feeling and a Zillow addiction. While Dad was dying, literally in his final weeks, Delphine launched her move. She started a petition claiming Broken Antler was abandoned, that my buildings violated community standards, that my cattle were a health hazard. Pure fiction, every word. She collected 89 signatures from Sage Valley residents who thought they were signing up for better snow removal. I'm not even kidding. One guy told me later he thought it was about fixing potholes. She filed the whole package with county commissioners demanding I remediate or sell immediately. I found out the day after I buried my father. Came home from the funeral, dirt still under my fingernails from tossing soil on his coffin, and there's a code enforcement notice stapled to my gate. Stapled, like a damn pizza coupon. Then I check my phone. Her voicemail, voice thick as honey. "Garrett, hun, I'm so sorry for your loss. When you get a moment, we really need to discuss your property situation. It's becoming a community concern. Call me." The metallic taste of rage flooded my mouth. That night I stood in Dad's empty bedroom, on the nightstand, a faded photo of us mending fence when I was maybe 12, both sunburned and grinning like we'd just won the lottery. I made a promise right there. Dad built this with his hands. I'll be damned if some HOA parasite picks the bones. I had no idea how deep her con ran. But I was about to learn. 2 weeks after burying Dad, a certified letter arrives claiming a 1987 county easement gives the HOA shared access to the creek running through my north pasture. They demand I allow landscaping crews onto my land to maintain the riparian zone, fancy words for planting decorative rocks and Instagram-worthy flowers along my creek. 14 days to comply or face enforcement action. They cite Colorado Revised Statute 3833.31166, which sounds official except they're applying it completely wrong, like quoting Shakespeare while ordering a Big Mac. I drive to the county clerk's office in Canyon City, a building that smells like old paper and burnt coffee, that universal government perfume that says we gave up caring during the Nixon administration. Ruth, the tired clerk who's processed 1 million requests without asking questions, prints what I need. $12 per document, 3 hours squinting at microfiche that probably hasn't been updated since Carter was president. Here's what I find. There was a 1987 easement, but it was for a utility company to access a natural gas line. It expired in 2002, never renewed. Delphine's claim is complete fiction, manufactured from nothing. My dad used to say, never trust what they tell you, go see for yourself. And he was talking about cattle buyers, but it applies to everything. Those $12 documents just saved me thousands in legal fees and proved she was lying through her perfectly whitened teeth. Anytime someone throws legal citations at you, verify them yourself. County records are public, cheap, and they don't lie. People do. But I keep digging. I file a Freedom of Information Act request for all HOA correspondence with county officials. Costs nothing, takes 10 business days. What I get back is pure gold. Delphine's been coordinating with the county planner, a guy named Brock, for 8 months. He tips her off about inspection schedules. She times complaints to land right before county crews show up. They've got a perfect little system running. Then I find the email that makes everything click. Once we establish access, the rest is easy. He'll sell or we'll foreclose. I read that line 5 times. Foreclose on what? I don't owe the HOA a single cent. My ranch has been paid off since 2019. There's no lien, no debt, no legal mechanism for foreclosure, unless they're planning to create one, which means this goes way deeper than harassment. I'm sitting in my truck outside the county building, phone in my shaking hands, breathing shallow, traffic humming in the distance. The sun's too bright. Everything feels surreal. Then I look up and see it. White Lexus, vanity plate, Ski Val 1, pulling into the Starbucks directly across the street. Delphine steps out, turquoise earrings flashing in the afternoon light, and meets a tall guy in a county polo shirt. Brock. They're laughing, actually laughing, clinking their overpriced lattes together like old friends celebrating a done deal. The arrogance is almost beautiful. They think they've already won, think I'm too grief-stricken or too stupid to figure out what they're doing. That night, I start researching Delphine's family using public records, LinkedIn, Facebook, all perfectly legal if you know where to look and have enough insomnia-fueled rage. Her daughter, Sienna Arquette, 31 years old, recently crawled back to Silver Pine after her wellness influencer career face-planted in Denver. She's got $74,000 in student loans. I know because she literally posted a crying emoji rant about it on LinkedIn, and she works part-time at Whole Foods, lives in Delphine's basement. Then I see her Facebook post from 3 days ago, and everything goes cold. The photo shows Sienna standing on my east pasture with her arms spread wide like she's auditioning for a yoga retreat brochure, mountains behind her, my cattle visible in the background. The caption reads, "Excited for my new entrepreneurial venture, future site of Sage Valley Retreat and Wellness Center." I stare at that image until my vision blurs. She's standing on land my grandfather cleared with his bare hands, land my father bled for, land that belongs to me. This isn't about property values or curb appeal or neighborhood aesthetics. This is theft, planned, coordinated, premeditated theft. The next night I'm doing my evening perimeter walk, old habit Dad drilled into me, when I find orange survey stakes planted along my fence line, each one marked SVWC in black Sharpie. I yank one out of the ground, and that's when I see the paper caught on the barbed wire, flapping in the wind like a surrender flag. It's a business permit application with Sienna's name on it, requesting a conditional use permit for a 12-cabin wellness retreat on recently acquired 40-acre parcel, Lot 0B, Sage Valley Estates Edition. Lot 0B doesn't exist in Sage Valley Estates, but the legal description matches Broken Antler Ranch word for word. The wind picks up, carrying the smell of sage and cold soil, and I'm standing there holding this orange stake like a weapon while everything clicks into place. They're not planning to steal my ranch. They think they already have. I don't call anyone. Don't confront them. Don't give any warning. Instead, I call my cousin Tully, a title insurance investigator in Denver and the smartest guy I know when it comes to property fraud. His advice is simple and surgical. Don't tip your hand. If they think you're clueless, they'll keep moving forward and they'll get sloppy. Overconfident people always do. Document everything. Photos, dates, witnesses. Build a timeline so airtight they can't wriggle out. That night, I clear a corner of the barn and pin documents to the plywood walls, connecting names and dates and transactions with red string. Email printouts, survey stake photos, permit applications, the fake easement letter, Sienna's Facebook post printed in full color. My war room is born. If they want Broken Antler, they'll have to go through me, and I'm done playing defense. They're out there right now laughing over coffee, thinking this is already finished, completely unaware of what's coming for them. I start checking county records every morning, 7 a.m., coffee in one hand, mouse in the other. Day 23 after Dad's funeral, something new appears. Quit claim deed, Emmett J. Murdoch, deceased, to Sage Valley Estates, HOA, trustee for community benefit, $1 consideration, filed by Delphine Arquette as HOA authorized agent. They forged my dead father's signature and sold his ranch for $1. The notary stamp is from a UPS store in Pueblo, 60 miles away. My hands shake so hard I nearly drop the phone. Here's what most people don't know about quitclaim deeds. They transfer ownership without guaranteeing the person signing actually owns the property. They're legitimate tools for divorces and family transfers, but they're also perfect for fraud because county clerks don't verify signatures. They just record what you file. It's a filing system, not fraud detection. Delphine exploited the gap between Dad's death and probate clearing, which takes 6 to 12 months in Colorado. She bet I'd be too grief-stricken to check records. She almost won that bet. I've got 120 days from filing to challenge it in court. I've already burned 3 weeks. I drive to the Pueblo UPS store, tucked between a vape shop and a seasonal tax office. The kid behind the counter, name tag says Braxton, barely glances at the deed. Yeah, we do notaries. $15. Quit claim deeds? People just bring them in and we stamp them. We're not lawyers. Security cameras? 30-day loop. 5 weeks ago, already erased. That night, I spread every document with Dad's signature across the barn workbench. His will, medical power of attorney, bank statements. 23 samples. I photograph the forged deed signature and use a free overlay tool to compare them. The differences scream fraud. Dad's real signatures from his final year are shaky, inconsistent, tremors from chemo. The forged signature is smooth, confident, perfect. Whoever did it was healthy and stupid enough to make it look too good. I take everything to Deputy Lang at the sheriff's office. He listens, sighs, leans back in his chair. Son, this is civil. Property dispute. We don't handle forgery on deeds unless the DA gets involved, and the DA won't touch it without a lawyer pushing. I've got photo evidence, handwriting analysis, a clear pattern. Doesn't matter. I believe you, he says, but you need a lawyer. I scrape together $2,500, my entire savings cushion, and hire Margot Vreeland. She works out of a small Colorado Springs office that smells like old books and quiet determination. Sharp, late 40s, no nonsense. She reviews everything in 30 minutes. Good news, this deed is legally worthless. Any competent judge will void it. Bad news, unwinding it takes time and money. Court filings, depositions, expert witnesses, $40,000 in legal fees, 18 months minimum. I don't have $40,000. She sees it on my face. There's another way. We let them think they've won, let them keep digging their hole deeper, then document their fraud in real time and hit them all at once. Riskier, but cheaper and more effective. She pulls up databases I didn't know existed. Look at this. Delphine's HOA paid your property taxes for first quarter, January through March. I ask why. She thinks paying someone's taxes strengthens ownership claims. In some states, if you follow specific procedures and wait 3 to 5 years, it can lead to ownership through tax lien foreclosure. But she skipped every required step, just paid directly to the county, basically donated $1,500 for no legal benefit. 2 days later, an eviction notice is taped to my door. Notice to vacate. As of deed transfer dated X, you are residing on HOA property without authorization. Vacate within 72 hours or face removal. Signed by Delphine. Handwritten postscript in blue pen. P.S. We're happy to discuss purchase of your equipment and livestock at fair market value. Let's end this amicably. The audacity is almost beautiful. I don't respond, don't call, don't give her the satisfaction. Instead, I call Rafe, a welder buddy I've known 15 years, a guy who can make steel do impossible things. I need a fence, I tell him. Wrought iron, 12 feet tall, with a message she'll never forget. Long pause. Then Rafe laughs. What kind of message? I'm already sketching on a napkin. Decorative metalwork, legal citations worked into the design. The kind that reminds her every single day exactly what law she broke. The kind she'll see from her kitchen window for the rest of her miserable life. When do we start? This weekend. If Delphine wants a war, I'll give her one she can see from space. Rafe shows up at dawn Saturday with his truck loaded with steel and a grin that says he knows exactly what beautiful chaos we're about to create. 2 full days, 1,200 linear feet of fence along the property line, wrought iron, powder-coated matte black, posts sunk 4 feet deep. Every measurement code compliant, every permit filed and approved. But every 50 feet, the decorative metalwork spells out CRS 185102, Colorado's forgery statute. The top rail has twisted steel with subtle barbed points, purely decorative, completely legal. Cost $18,000. Every penny of my remaining savings. Worth it. The post driver's rhythmic clang echoes across the valley. Hot metal and welding flux mix with crushed prairie grass. Rafe's torch throws blue-white sparks like fireflies. By Sunday evening, Sage Valley residents gather across the street, phones out, filming. The fence rises like iron teeth against the sunset. 12 feet of go to hell in architectural form. Sunday afternoon, Delphine's Lexus screams up my driveway, tires spitting gravel. She jumps out, face red, turquoise earrings swinging. You can't build this. It violates our community aesthetic guidelines. I flip up my welding mask, lean against a post. I'm not in your community, Delphine. Never was. She's shaking. It's a spite fence. That's illegal. Spite fences are only illegal if their sole purpose is annoying neighbors. I've got legitimate reasons. Livestock containment, security, keeping trespassers off my property. I let that word hang. Trespassers. Colorado allows fences up to 15 feet on agricultural land. I'm at 12. Want to measure? Her mouth opens and closes. She storms off, tires squealing. 2 days later, Inspector Pacheco arrives. He walks the fence line, checks permits, measures height, inspects welds. It's not blocking sight lines, it's entirely on your property, and honestly, gorgeous work. He shakes my hand. Delphine watches from her Lexus 50 yards away, taking photos. Wednesday morning, my kitchen tap runs dry, just a dribble of brown water, then air. I hike to the shared water line from the 70s that feeds 3 ranches. The valve's on what Delphine now claims is her land. Someone closed it and chained it shut. New padlock, shiny. I photograph everything, GPS coordinates, serial number, timestamps, but don't cut it. That's what she wants, evidence of me vandalizing HOA property. I haul water in tanks for cattle and document every gallon. But something unexpected happens. Sage Valley residents, actual homeowners, start approaching me. A couple in their 60s, nervous. We signed her petition. She said it was about trash cleanup. We didn't know she was trying to take your land. Another couple, younger. Our dues went up again. 3rd time this year. Delphine says it's for legal expenses. Is she suing you with our money? She's not suing me, I say. She's trying to steal from me. Big difference. Word spreads through their private Facebook group. Civil war erupts, people demanding financial transparency, asking where the reserve fund went, questioning why meetings became closed session. One guy, Porter, retired accountant, requests HOA financial records, his legal right as a member. Delphine refuses, calls them confidential board documents. Porter emails back, Colorado HOA law says otherwise. 10 business days to comply or I'm filing a state complaint. He walks over one evening direct. I think you're getting screwed and our fees are paying for it. Can we talk? We talk 3 hours. He takes meticulous notes. 10 days later, legally forced to hand over records, Delphine complies. Porter shows up at my door with an accordion folder and a look like he found a body. Garrett, you need to see this. But before we dig in, Friday morning my cattle are gone. All 11 head, gate wide open, deep tire ruts in mud from yesterday's rain leading to the county road. I call Deputy Lang, file a report. Any idea who'd steal your cattle? I've got a theory. My fence cameras, motion-activated, night vision, show 2:47 a.m. footage. 3 people herding cattle into a trailer. One is clearly Sienna. Teal Tacoma, Namaste bumper sticker visible under floodlight. Lang nods grimly. Grand theft livestock. Felony. But he needs to build the case. Interview witnesses, process evidence. Translation, a week or 2 minimum. That night I execute 3 moves. First, file formal probate challenge on the fraudulent deed, copies to district court, county attorney, state attorney general. Second, compile every piece of evidence into one devastating PDF. Emails, photos, Porter's records, camera footage, signature analysis. Third, send it to Kenna Briggs, investigative reporter at the Colorado Springs Gazette. Subject line, HOA president, committed forgery to steal ranch. I have proof. If Delphine wants dirty, I'm bringing the cavalry. Porter shows up at my kitchen table 3 days later with a banker's box full of documents and the expression of a man who just discovered his entire neighborhood has been living a lie. You need to see this, he says, dumping financial statements across the scarred wood, all of it. The HOA financials tell a story so corrupt it's almost impressive. $127,000 missing from the reserve fund over 18 months. Porter traces payments to SVWC Consulting LLC, $4,500 monthly for 18 months. $81,000 total. The invoices claim community planning services, but the phone number's disconnected. The address is a UPS mailbox in Denver. SVWC is Sienna's shell company. Not a single service was rendered. Just embezzlement with a business card. Then there are payments directly to Delphine. $2,800 monthly for administrative fees, when bylaws cap it at $500. She's been paying herself 5 times the legal limit for 3 years. Nearly $60,000 in excess payments to herself alone. Porter spreads more documents, property records, business filings, loan applications, all cross-referenced with accountant precision. 18 months ago, Delphine formed SVWC LLC with Sienna as owner. 14 months ago, they started pre-selling wellness retreat memberships to wealthy Denver and Boulder clients. $15,000 each, 30 memberships sold. $450,000 in deposits for a retreat that doesn't exist on land they don't own. Porter slides one document toward me, profit-sharing agreement between Delphine and Sienna. Upon successful acquisition of Parcel 0B, Broken Antler Ranch, net profits from SVWC shall be distributed 60% S. Arquette, 40%. D. Arquette. The signature date makes my stomach drop. 3 weeks before my father died. While I sat in hospice holding his hand, they were dividing up profits from his land. There's more, Porter says. Sienna took out a $340,000 construction loan from Silver Pine Community Bank. Collateral, Broken Antler Ranch, deed transfer pending. The loan officer who approved it, Vaughn Gaskell, Delphine's ex-boyfriend from Fort Collins. They've been having coffee twice monthly for a year. Loan approved 2 days after the fraudulent deed was filed. Porter shows me one final email. Vaughn to Delphine last week. Loan committee approved SVWC disbursement. First draw of $85K hits Friday. Drinks to celebrate? They're not planning anymore. They're actively spending money, preparing to break ground on my father's land. My dad used to say, fraud always leaves a paper trail because criminals can't help but document their greed. They want proof of who gets what. Delphine and Sienna created shell companies, fake invoices, loan applications, profit-sharing agreements. They built their own prison out of paperwork, and I'm holding the keys. That evening, Margot reviews everything. This isn't just deed fraud, it's wire fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy, possibly RICO. Federal charges are on the table because they used interstate banking. She looks up. We could go to the FBI, but that takes years. Or we let them self-destruct publicly. The town council meeting, I say. 2 weeks. Give her a stage, let her think she's won, then pull back the curtain. Porter finds one more email. Brock to Delphine. Conditional use permit approved pending title verification. Confirmed deeds recorded and we break ground. Drinks Friday? Date stamp yesterday. They're moving forward right now. Bulldozers probably already scheduled. I look at both of them across my kitchen table, surrounded by evidence of conspiracy that started while my father was dying. 2 weeks, I say quietly. We end this in 2 weeks. My kitchen table becomes war headquarters. Porter, Margot, Tully, Rafe, even Deputy Lang off duty. Documents, photos, timeline charts spread everywhere. 2 weeks until town council, I say. We need irrefutable evidence, public pressure, and a legal kill shot. Margot handles legal filings. She files emergency motion to void fraudulent deed in district court, ethics complaint against Brock with the state regulatory board, and criminal referral to the DA for forgery, theft, conspiracy. We're building a legal avalanche, she explains. Even if one filing fails, 3 others are right behind it. When fighting fraud, you file everything, everywhere. State court, federal agencies, professional licensing boards. Cast a wide net and something will stick. Porter dives into financial forensics. He subpoenas bank records through Margot's court filings and discovers Delphine moved $89,000 from HOA reserves into her personal account, then to Sienna. Transaction memo, loan repayment. But no loan agreement exists. He also finds Vaughn received a $12,000 consulting fee from SVWC LLC the same week he approved Sienna's loan. Porter compiles a 47-page financial report with color charts simple enough for anyone to understand. Following the money becomes crystal clear when you see it mapped out visually. I contact Kenna Briggs, investigative reporter at the Colorado Springs Gazette. She's skeptical at first. HOA disputes are usually petty nonsense. I hand her Porter's report, deed documents, the email trail. Her eyes widen as she flips through pages. This is organized crime dressed as suburban governance. She agrees to investigate with one condition: exclusive story rights. Fine, I tell her. But we break it at town council. Live. She grins. Even better. Public implosion makes better copy than courtroom drama. Porter and I host a concerned residents meeting at the local diner. 34 Sage Valley homeowners attend out of 142 total. Porter presents the financials. Your dues didn't go to landscaping. They went to fund a land theft scheme. I watch faces shift from confusion to anger to betrayal. One woman starts crying. She's been paying into this fraud for 3 years. Iris Drummond, former city councilwoman and respected elder, stands up. I've dealt with corrupt officials before. You need a recall petition. Fast. Colorado HOA law, 25% of members can force a recall vote. We need 36 signatures. Porter and Iris canvass the neighborhood over 3 days, knocking on doors, showing documentation, answering questions. They secure 52 signatures, well over the minimum. Recall petition filed, demanding removal of Delphine, full financial audit, new board election. Delphine's panicked email to residents follows within hours. This recall is a vindictive attack by an outsider who refuses to respect community standards. But the damage is done. Residents are asking questions she can't answer. Tully discovers the nuclear option buried in public records. The original 2018 HOA incorporation documents contain an error, wrong legal description for community boundaries. Result: 16 homes, including Delphine's, are technically outside HOA jurisdiction. Meaning she's been collecting dues from people who legally aren't members, Tully explains. Meaning she has no authority to act as HOA president. HOA incorporation documents are public record, and errors in legal descriptions can void entire governance structures. Always verify your HOA's foundational documents. Most people never do, and that's where these scams hide. Rafe returns to the ranch with a metal detector, sweeping the area where survey stakes were planted. He finds buried markers labeled SVWC, dated before the fraudulent deed was filed. They were planning construction before they legally owned the land. I photograph everything, log GPS coordinates, add it to the evidence pile that's growing taller each day. Margot prepares the backup plan, our insurance policy if everything falls apart. If town council goes sideways, we have this. She shows me a federal civil RICO lawsuit, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Defendants: Delphine, Sienna, Vaughn, Brock. Damages: $1.2 million. Tripled under RICO to $3.6 million. The document is complete, legally airtight, ready to file with just my signature. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, I say, but we both know hope isn't a strategy. Late night, alone, I walk to Dad's grave on the north pasture. Cold wind cuts through my jacket, scent of sage heavy in the air, stars infinite overhead. I whisper to the headstone, Dad, I hope I'm doing this right. You always said, don't get mad, get even, but I'm both. I touch the cold granite, feel the weight of 3 generations pressing down, then return to the house where lights burn in the kitchen and the War Council is reconvening for final preparations. 2 weeks feels like both too much time and not enough. With the recall petition filed, Delphine launches full offensive. She hires a crisis PR firm from Denver, $8,000 paid from HOA reserves, and the strategy is simple: destroy my credibility before town council. Email blast to all Sage Valley residents, plus town officials. Garrett Murdoch is mentally unstable, dangerous, potentially violent. His spite fence is a safety hazard. He's been harassing female HOA board members. His livestock created E. coli contamination in community water supply. Every word is fiction. Attached are grainy photos of me yelling at the fence line. Context removed, I was actually yelling at coyotes near my cattle, but context doesn't matter in a smear campaign. Delphine approaches Porter privately at a coffee shop. I only know because Porter records everything on his phone now. She slides an envelope across the table. $15,000 in cash. Handwritten note. Drop the recall. Forget what you saw. Everyone wins. Porter, still recording. You're trying to bribe me? Delphine. I'm offering compensation for your time. You've been misled by Garrett's vendetta. Porter pretends to consider it, then gives the recording to Margot within the hour. The county sends a different inspector to my ranch, guy named Howell, who seems nervous, won't make eye contact. He finds violations. Barn lacks proper egress lighting, workshop missing GFCI outlets, house has unpermitted room addition from 1994 that's been grandfathered for decades. Everything is technical, nitpicky, selectively enforced. 15 days to remedy or we red tag the property. Cost to fix his made-up problems, $22,000. Tully runs background on Howell, discovers he recently transferred from a different county, and his social media shows a phishing photo with Vaughn, the bank officer, from 3 weeks ago. Caption: Great catching up with my cousin Vaughn. They're related. Conflict of interest. Howell shouldn't be inspecting property connected to Vaughn's loan. Margot files an ethics complaint immediately. Delphine contacts local TV, offers exclusive interview about dangerous rancher terrorizing peaceful suburban community. The station sends a producer named Lyle who does basic fact-checking, discovers I have 0 criminal record while Delphine's financial irregularities are public record. Lyle calls her back. We're not running this, but we are investigating the HOA embezzlement angle. She hangs up. Sienna files a police report claiming my fence gave her severe lacerations while she was jogging nearby. Photos submitted, bandaged arm, blood on clothing. Problem: the fence has no sharp edges and it's 12 feet tall. No one touches it while jogging. Deputy Lang interviews her. How exactly did you cut yourself? Sienna, flustered. I climbed over to retrieve my dog's ball. Lang. So you trespassed onto posted private property and injured yourself? Case closed. No charges against me. Anonymous letters start arriving at my ranch. No return address. Drop the lawsuit or your ranch burns. Accidents happen to cattle all the time. You're in over your head, old man. I give them to Lang, who sends them to the FBI, threatening interstate commerce as federal. Handwriting analysis matches samples from Delphine's HOA correspondence. The Sage Valley Facebook group completely implodes. Residents split into camps, Team Delphine shrinking daily, Team Garrett growing, and a middle group of terrified people who just want it to end. Arguments get so heated, the admin shuts down the entire group. Delphine schedules emergency HOA board meeting 3 days before town council. Agenda: authorize $75,000 legal fund to defend HOA against Garrett's frivolous lawsuits. Her puppet board members vote 4-1 to approve. The dissenting vote comes from Cleo, a newer member who's been reading Porter's reports. She stands, voice shaking. This is insane. We're funding a crime with our own money. Delphine: you're out of order. Sit down or you're removed from the board. Throughout all this, the smears, the bribes, the threats, the fraudulent inspections, I don't retaliate. No angry posts, no confrontations, no vandalism. I document everything, stay quiet, let her dig deeper. Rafe visits one evening, finds me in the barn, organizing evidence files. How are you not losing your mind, he asks. I look at the timeline pinned to the wall, the red strings connecting every lie, every crime, every co-conspirator. Because in 72 hours, the whole town watches her lose hers. 72 hours before town council, I execute final reconnaissance. Tully and I stake out Sienna's wellness center construction site, my land, according to their fake deed. Construction crew is already breaking ground, excavators digging foundation, cement trucks on standby. The foreman, unaware he's building on stolen property, tells us, "Yeah, permits all cleared. Owner said it's her family land." I photograph everything, equipment serial numbers, crew names, progress. The permit sign lists Vaughn's Bank as primary lender. Porter monitors HOA bank accounts. He has access as a member who requested records. Discovery: Delphine just transferred another $28,000 to a legal defense fund. But the payment goes to a shell company, not a law firm. Porter traces it, registered in Wyoming, a privacy haven, with Sienna's ex-boyfriend listed as agent of record. The money's being laundered out before anyone can freeze accounts. Every transfer, every shell game, gets documented and added to our evidence. Kenna Briggs publishes her preview article in the Gazette. HOA president faces fraud allegations. Carefully worded, legally vetted, focused on public records, missing funds, questionable deed, recall petition. She's burying the real bombshell for town council. The article goes regional within hours. Denver stations pick it up. Delphine's Facebook response: fake news. Desperate attacks from desperate people. Truth will emerge at town council. She's walking right into it. Then something unexpected happens. Brock, the county planner, contacts me through an intermediary. Wants to meet alone, neutral location. We meet at a rest stop outside town. He's sweating, nervous, can't maintain eye contact. "I need immunity," he says. "I'll tell you everything." I'm not a prosecutor, but Margot can make calls. Brock's confession spills out. Delphine promised him $50,000 in partnership in the wellness center if he fast-tracked permits. He approved permits knowing the deed was questionable, kept copies of everything. Texts, emails, payment receipts. She said it was just a civil matter, neighbors fighting. I didn't know about the forgery until I saw the news. Margot files an amended court motion with Brock's cooperation, adds conspiracy to commit fraud, bribery of a public official, includes his evidence dump, 90-plus pages of texts and emails. She times the filing for 5 p.m. the day before town council. Too late for Delphine to respond, early enough for media to report it. Perfect timing. I confirm with the town clerk. I'm on the agenda, 15-minute public comment slot. I request a projector, screen, audio system. The clerk, suspicious. "What are you presenting?" I keep it simple. Just some property documents. Visual aids help. I don't mention Margot, Porter, Kenna, and Tully will all be there. Or that I've invited the county sheriff, state HOA regulatory investigator, and an FBI agent through Lang's connections. Delphine learns I'm on the town council agenda and panics. She hires an attorney, Rutger Voss, expensive Denver corporate lawyer at $650 an hour. Voss reviews the case over 24 hours, and his advice is immediate. You need to settle, today. Offer him his ranch back, full apology, walk away. Delphine refuses. Absolutely not, I've done nothing wrong, we'll bury him. Voss, sensing disaster. Then I need a $50,000 retainer, now. Delphine scrambles, borrows from Sienna, maxes out credit cards to pay him. The night before council, I can't sleep. I walk the ranch perimeter under stars, boots crunching frost on grass, distant coyote calls echoing across the valley. I stop at the construction site, excavators silent, dark, waiting. Tomorrow this ends, one way or another. I return to find an old photo. Dad shaking hands with the county commissioner at the ranch's 50th anniversary in 2011. On the back, in his handwriting, built with honesty, protected with truth. Morning of town council, Delphine sends a mass email. Emergency HOA meeting, mandatory attendance, 6 p.m. Same time as town council. She's trying to pull her supporters away, control the narrative in her own space. Porter and Iris counter immediately. Email blast to Sage Valley residents. Attend town council 6 p.m. See the evidence Delphine doesn't want you to see. By 5:30 p.m., town council chambers are packed, capacity 180, but there are over 220 people crammed in, spilling into hallways. Front row, Margot, Porter, Kenna with notebook ready, Tully. Middle section, Sage Valley residents, tension thick, camps clearly divided. Back row, sheriff's deputies, state investigator in plain clothes, FBI agent Torrens in a gray suit, camera crews from local TV and Kenna's Gazette videographer set up. Delphine enters with Voss, Sienna, two remaining board members. She sees the crowd, the cameras, the officials. Her confidence flickers to concern, but she squares her shoulders. She still thinks she can talk her way out. Mayor Pruitt gavels the meeting to order. Standard agenda items rush by. Everyone knows why they're really here. At 6:47 p.m., public comment period. First speaker, Garrett Murdoch, 15 minutes. I stand, walk to the podium wearing clean Wranglers, pressed shirt, dad's bolo tie, set down my folders, plug in my laptop, look directly at Delphine. She's whispering frantically to Voss. I take a breath. Here we go. I stand at the podium, hands steady now, voice calm. Mayor, council members, neighbors. My name is Garrett Murdoch. 47 days ago, I buried my father. 23 days ago, someone stole my family's ranch using a forged deed. Tonight, you'll see exactly how. First slide appears on screen. Side-by-side comparison of Dad's real signature, shaky, tremor-affected, next to the forged deed signature, smooth and confident. Audible gasps ripple through the chamber. Slide 2, the fraudulent quit-claim deed, highlighted sections glowing. Filed by Delphine Arquette as HOA authorized agent. Problem: HOA has no authority over non-member property. First lie. Slide 3. Notary stamp from Pueblo UPS store. Notary never verified identity, never saw my deceased father sign, because he was dead. Second lie. Delphine stands, face red. This is slander. Mayor, I demand he be removed. Mayor Pruitt. Ms. Arquette, he has the floor. You'll get your turn. She sits, Voss gripping her arm. But the deed was just the tool. The motive was money. I nod to Porter. He stands, distributes printed financial reports to council members. Slide 4. HOA fund flow chart, color-coded damning. Porter presents 127,000 diverted from reserves over 18 months. Destinations: Sienna Arquette's shell company, Delphine's personal account, payments to co-conspirators. Slide 5. Bank statements, highlighted transactions. Slide 6. Email thread between Delphine and Brock. I read aloud. Once we establish access, the rest is easy. He'll sell or we'll foreclose. Sent 3 weeks before my father died. Angry murmurs erupt. Several Sage Valley residents stand, shouting at Delphine. Mayor Pruitt gavels for order. You don't have to take my word. Brock stands from the back, walks forward, visibly shaking. I accepted bribes. I falsified permit approvals. Delphine Arquette paid me $12,000 and promised partnership in the wellness center. I have every text, every payment, every lie. He places a USB drive on the council desk. It's all here. Voss whispers urgently to Delphine. Don't say anything, not a word. But she can't help herself. She stands, voice shrill. He's lying. Brock is lying to save himself. This is a conspiracy against me. I stay calm. Then explain this. Slide 7. Construction site photos, excavators on my land. Slide 8. Sienna's social media. Future home of Sage Valley Wellness Center, geotagged on my property. Slide 9. Bank loan documents. $340,000 using Broken Antler Ranch as collateral, approved by Vaughn Gaskell. Your daughter took a loan against property you didn't own, approved by your ex-boyfriend, to build a business selling memberships worth $450,000. That's not an HOA dispute. That's organized fraud. Sheriff's deputy stands. Ms. Arquette, we need you to come with us. FBI agent Torrens rises. Federal warrants have been issued for wire fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, and interstate racketeering. You have the right to remain silent. Delphine screams. This is insane. You can't do this. I'm the victim here. Sienna bolts for the door, but deputies in the hallway tackle her, handcuffs clicking. The chamber erupts. Phones filming, people shouting, complete chaos. I return to the podium as deputies lead Delphine out, still screaming. I hold up one final document. This is a RICO lawsuit, filed 1 hour ago. Defendants: Delphine Arquette, Sienna Arquette, Vaughn Gaskell, Brock Henley. Damages: $1.2 million, trebled under federal racketeering statute to $3.6 million. I set it down, but here's what I really want. Slide 10. Photo of Broken Antler Ranch at sunset, cattle grazing, mountains beyond. I want my home back. I want every family here to know their HOA fees go to their community, not someone's greed. And I want to make sure no one's family legacy gets stolen while they're burying their father. Standing ovation. It starts with Porter, spreads through Sage Valley residents, then the entire chamber. Iris Drummond stands. Mayor, I move we formally recognize Mr. Murdoch's evidence and request full state investigation of Sage Valley Estates HOA. Mayor Pruitt. So moved. All in favor? Unanimous vote, gavels down like thunder. Outside, Kenna corners Voss. Any comment on your client's arrest? Voss, briefcase in hand, walking fast. I've withdrawn from representation. No comment. TV crews swarm. The story goes statewide within 30 minutes, national by morning. Parking lot, 9 p.m. I'm leaning against my truck, exhausted. Tully, Margot, Porter, Rafe gather around. Rafe, you did it, man. You actually did it. I look toward the ranch, visible on the horizon, fence lights glowing. We did it. And I think, Dad, we protected it. The way you taught me. Criminal proceedings move fast. Delphine and Sienna held without bail. Flight risk. Vaughn flips, agrees to testify in exchange for reduced charges. Brock enters plea deal. 18 months probation, $50,000 fine, permanent ban from public service. The fraudulent deed is voided by emergency court order, my ownership restored same day. Title insurance pays $127,000 to the HOA for stolen funds. Emergency board election follows within weeks. Porter elected president, Iris vice president, Cleo treasurer. New board implements immediate reforms. All financial transactions require dual approval. Monthly public reports posted online, dues reduced from $340 to $185 monthly. Turns out half the expenses were fabricated. Community vote now required for any legal action over $5,000. Good HOA governance is simple. Transparency, checks and balances, member control. If your HOA resists these basics, that's your red flag. The Wellness Center scam unravels completely. Pre-sold memberships, $450,000 total, trigger lawsuits from 30 Denver and Boulder clients. Court appoints receiver to liquidate SVWC assets. Empty LLC, 1 Teal Tacoma, office furniture. Victims form class action. Settlement involves seizing Delphine and Sienna's personal assets, Delphine's Lexus, even Sienna's Instagram account with 47,000 followers gets monetization rights sold. I used the RICO settlement, $1.8 million after legal fees, to restore the ranch. New barn, modern and solar powered. Upgraded fencing throughout the property, though I keep the spite fence as a monument. I hire 2 part-time ranch hands, local veterans needing work. The sound of hammers on new barn framing, smell of fresh-cut pine, laughter of the work crew. The ranch feels alive again. I plant an oak tree at Dad's grave with a plaque. Emmett Murdoch, 1947 to 2025. Built with honesty, protected with truth. 4 months after town council, I established the Emmett Murdoch Legacy Fund with a $400,000 endowment. Purpose: legal aid for families fighting HOA fraud, property theft, elder financial abuse. Partnership with Colorado Legal Aid Society. First year helps 12 families across the state reclaim stolen property, fight illegal foreclosures. If you suspect HOA fraud, organizations like this exist. Document everything, reach out, you're not alone. Sage Valley transforms. With Delphine gone, neighborhood culture shifts entirely. The annual Broken Antler BBQ becomes tradition. I host over 200 neighbors on the ranch each summer. Former Team Delphine members apologize privately. I accept gracefully, no grudges. One couple who signed the original petition donates $5,000 to the Legacy Fund as penance. The smell of mesquite smoke, sound of kids playing by the creek, taste of slow-cooked brisket. This is what community should feel like. Kenna Briggs and I stay in touch. Coffee becomes dinner, becomes something more. Turns out investigative reporters appreciate a solid document trail. We're seen together at town events, and yeah, there's something there. Not rushed, not the focus, but real. 8 months later, sentencing day arrives. Delphine gets 7 years federal prison, $2.1 million in restitution. Sienna receives 4 years, $890,000 restitution, barred from financial services forever. Vaughn gets 2 years, $340,000 restitution, banking license revoked permanently. I attend sentencing, say nothing, leave quietly. I modify the spite fence one final time, add educational plaques every 100 feet explaining Colorado property law, HOA rights, fraud prevention. It becomes an informal teaching tool. Property law students visit, journalists stop by, curious neighbors read and learn. Local college uses it for real estate law classes. The story goes viral beyond Colorado. YouTube channels cover it, and I give one exclusive interview to an ethical creator. It inspires HOA reform legislation in 40-plus states. The Murdoch Standard enters legal vocabulary. Document everything, follow the money, force public accountability. 1 year after that town council meeting, I stand at the same fence line where this all began. But now, cattle graze peacefully. The new barn gleams in afternoon sun. Neighbors wave from the trail. I'm holding coffee Kenna made before heading out to cover another story. The ranch survived. Dad's legacy stands. I look at the fence, at the land beyond, at the mountains catching sunset light. They thought stealing my home would be easy. Turns out some things are worth fighting for. And when you fight clean, with truth and patience, you don't just win, you build something better. If you've got an HOA nightmare story, drop it in the comments. Let's shine light on these abuses. And if this meant something to you, hit subscribe. We're not done fighting for the little guy. I walk toward the house, silhouette against golden hour, the fence inscription visible behind me. CRS 18-5102. The Emmett Murdoch Legacy Fund has helped 47 families reclaim $8.3 million in stolen property. The fight continues.